Hi everyone and welcome back to It's a Twin Thing. I hope you all enjoyed yesterday's topic of teething, and today's topic is sleeping. So this is a really interesting one, and there's so many variables when it comes to babies sleeping. So just some info. On average, a newborn baby will sleep roughly 8 hours during the day and 8 hours at night in about 1 to 2 hour stints, as they're getting up in between to feed. So that's quite an average sort of spectrum. Some babies are better at sleeping, other babies not so much, just depending on your situation. So eventually, once they sort of hit like the 3 month mark, they may go a little bit longer during the night. It just depends on the child. So speaking in our experience, when we came back home from the special care unit, my daughter was on European time, and so she would be sleeping during the day and she'd be up a lot of the night, just wide awake wanting to play. So when they came home from the hospital, they were roughly around the 36, 37 week mark. So they were still quite prem newborn babies. So she came back home. She came home on European time, and my son at that point was really easy to settle. You could put him in bed awake, and he would naturally just settle himself to sleep. When we got home, we had two cots next to each other. They slept in separate cots, not in our room, and our room was right next door. And we had baby monitors in the room at the time. So, and then it hit sort of like the 3-4 month mark, and all of a sudden something shifted, and my daughter was really easy to settle. She would actually enjoy going to bed, and you could put her down. She was sleeping better through the night. And my son decided to do the complete opposite. We really struggled with him. So there were a few reasons as to why with him. So there was the fact that he would be overtired, and he didn't have tired signs. So when Daniela was tired, she'd rub her eyes and you would tell that she was tired. With him, he showed no signs of being tired. So we couldn't pick up on the cues of him being overtired. And then we'd try and put him down. And because he was overtired, he wouldn't sleep. So in infants, when they're overtired, they become hyperactive. With adults, when they're overtired, they're genuinely just tired and go to sleep. So this we struggled with. The other thing was, we had spoken to the maternal health nurse, and we described our concerns with him, and she mentioned that he was an overstimulated mind. So basically he was very clever, very alert, and always looking around at his surroundings. Therefore, he is the type of baby that is genuinely harder to settle. So the recommendation was, make sure the room is dark, so there's no lights that are distracting him. Make sure that there's no noise. And the thing was, because we came home from the special care unit, and the kids being in the hospital, we're used to noise, we're used to lights on, we just naturally assumed they wanted the same environment. But as they matured and got older, for him, we needed to have a dark room with no noise, and we had to naturally just adjust to what he needed. So that helped with us putting him down. However, he would still really, really struggle to go to sleep because he wanted to be up all the time. I got to the point where I had to rock him most nights, and then he got quite heavy. So that was really hard on my back, and it was hard to get him to transition. I was literally, my husband and I were pulling our hair out basically, because we honestly had no idea how to help this, how to fix this. And my daughter, when she would cry, her cry wasn't loud, it was more of a sook. Whereas with him, he was quite a loud crier, so he would often wake her up, because their cots were next to each other. So I tried everything. I got a portable a bassinet and tried to put him in another room so he wouldn't wake her. Didn't work. I tried putting him down first, getting him to sleep and then putting her in, and that helped. But didn't always work because sometimes the one would wake the other. And then, we tried the control crying. We tried it earlier on and it didn't work. We tried it as they matured a little bit and we thought maybe this will help. It worked temporarily and then teething hit. So like I said, the babies are always transitioning. There's always something changing, something adjusting. So you might find that you get a routine and then something happens like teething and you've got to start all over again. So you need to be able to adapt to their needs. We're at a point now where they're a lot better with sleeping. They're a lot more active, so they're utilizing more energy. So I'm finding that he's getting to a point where he's actually tired and wanting to go to bed. But for a long time, we really struggled with sleep. And it's not just overtired or overstimulated. There are a few other reasons as to babies not sleeping. There could be colic. They could be, separation anxiety, which is quite common in children. There's so many factors, and because obviously babies can't communicate what's wrong, it's really hard to determine why they're not sleeping or why they're not settling. I got to a point also with Joshua where I would rock him in the rocking chair just to settle him, so not actually get him to sleep. And then once he was sort of a little bit more settled, I would then put him down and get him to self-settle. Because a lot of the time when I was rocking him to sleep, he would fall asleep in my arms, and then the minute I popped him into his cot, he would wake up and scream. So you've spent 20 odd minutes rocking this child, getting him to sleep, and then putting him down, and you're wasting your time, sort of thing. So there was a few struggles that we sort of dealt with when it come to getting him to sleep. Even now, like, he's not a great sleeper, but rest assured we just persevered, and he's a lot better now. We're getting a lot more sleep now. But yeah, so look, and every child is different. You speak to some mums and their babies just sleep right through. Some I've heard of, some parents where because of colic, their babies didn't sleep at all. Then you've also got, both my children love being in the car. They sleep in the car. That's an easy way to get them down. In the pram, they sleep. The motion tends to get them to sleep. But it's really just trial and error with, or like I said, every baby is different. If you do have any concerns or any questions in regards to sleep and I can help, please feel free to contact me. I feel like we've sort of endured so many different avenues when it comes to settling the kids to sleep. So if I can help, then 100% I would. The other thing that helped with Joshua is, so prior to about 7 months old, he never took a dummy. Didn't like it, would like spit it out. And when he sort of hit 7 months, he started taking a dummy for some random reason. So that tended to help settling him. But like I said, there's parents out there that are pro dummies and that aren't pro dummies. So depending on what your situation is. But like I said, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer if I can. And so tomorrow I'm going to be discussing solid foods and transitioning from milk to starting to introduce solid foods. So have a great day. Stay tuned and we'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.